All right, so today I want to start by sharing you a really crazy story about a time when I was preparing for my next level of advancement in basically life regarding investing, business, and all this other, moving forward with some new adventure. And it started about 2 years before I really started moving into real estate. And this is just one example I want to start with. I was actually talking to a CPA, going over some of our finances, putting our taxes together. And she said, hey, Chris, you should really go ahead and talk to this certain person I have downstairs that shared an office with her that had a business that was a mortgage broker. And this lady will kind of get you on path to understanding a little bit about real estate and how it works. So she introduced me to this woman downstairs, and this mortgage broker sat me down and said, okay, here's the basic fundamentals about real estate. She took me through some of the fundamentals, she put everything together, and then she said also, you might want to read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So along the way, I'm reading this book, I'm starting to get everything put together. I said I wanted to invest in real estate. I had no idea how to do it. And this lady mentored me. She took me under her wing. She even asked if I wanted to get licensed under her. That's how dedicated I was to want to learn about real estate. And she really did help me through getting from up to my first properties and exploding out of there and having multiple properties. I think at one time we had 6 escrows going through at once. So we really started to advance through this, but it took 2 years. From the first day I met this woman, she started talking to me about it. And it was because, one, my credit needed to be fixed. It was one of those downturns that I was coming and fixing up. And she explained to me about job situations, how to make sure I line myself up properly so that I get the best chances for the best loans. Everything I needed to know about becoming a real estate investor, she talked to me about. And I studied on my own. I bought these online courses, back then there wasn't actually online courses. I bought this cassette tape course, how to invest in real estate, which had helped me enormously save probably about $15,000 on one of my transactions, how to negotiate. And I really started diving in. So I wanted to talk today about the idea or the quote that is famously known that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And one miracle story about this, it's not about actually when I was ready, then she was already there helping me along the way. This is a story about after I had pretty few successes in real estate. We had a bunch of money, tens of thousands of dollars that had come off another transaction, off of a closing of a deal, sitting in the bank. And I wanted to know what my next transaction should be. And I wanted to learn something even more. So there was a CD course. I mean, it's literally, you bought a CD and they shipped it to you overnight. And I think it was probably about 99 bucks. It wasn't a whole lot. And it was just one guy doing a lecture, kind of like this, just on a CD. And basically, he talked about basically something called the lease option. And it was a really interesting strategy. And I sat there and listened to this. It was, I think, 6 hours long. So over a few days, kind of compiling it, taking some notes. And it was really interesting. But one day, as I was finishing up the CD, I pulled into a parking lot to finish it off so I could really concentrate on what I was listening to. And I finished off the CD, and not but 2 minutes after the CD ended and I was blown away at this new technique, did the phone ring. And I picked up the phone, and this guy answers the phone saying, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm a real estate agent in this local area. Have you ever heard of lease options? And literally, I mean, if you had saw my face, I would have turned white. My jaw dropped, and I said, seriously, I just finished listening to an entire course that explained everything about lease options. So what ended up happening with that deal is we ended up taking, I think, about $50,000 or $60,000, and we ended up getting into a lease option deal with a property that ended up paying us a little over $500 or $600 a month in cash flow from this. And 2 years later, we actually cashed out and doubled out that money to about, I don't know, 80 to 100,000. I think the initial investment was 40,000 what we're putting in, but we needed some closing costs and was covered, and turned that 40 into like $80,000 2 years later, plus $500 a month cash flow. So it was a crazy deal that happened, but I wanted to really talk about this in the YouTube aspect, not just real estate, because this is the same thing that's actually happening today. When I am now ready to go ahead and launch into the next phase, I have a coach that I'm talking to tomorrow that's going to take me to the next phase. It's when I'm finally prepared and ready to go ahead and jump and actually have my own YouTube coach, a higher level, a guy who has tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. I don't even know how big he is, but I've been listening to him for probably 10 years and heard him through his transitions in his life of different niches that he's gone into, but nonetheless, he stood the test of time in being online, and he is just somebody I've admired for so long. He's actually put on his own conference, which I would love to do one day. Put on my own conference to actually help people in the masses, 600, even as small as 60. I was thinking a good one is actually 60, but that's not so much what I want to do, but I want to know what you want to do. And are you ready? Are you ready for a teacher to come along? And if one hasn't come along, maybe you're not. Maybe there's still things that you need to go ahead and move yourself to the next level. Are you mentally prepared to do something? I mean, the time when I got that call, I was ready with so many different things already lined up. Real estate knowledge of other foundations, how rentals already worked, how kind of long-term flipping, why 2 years worked better. And I had a very strong understanding because I'd done a few transactions along the way before this new thing started happening. Now, that being said, there was also another time that I was also in the real estate market and I was looking into pre-construction condos. Looked into this course, got this course, got a little too greedy, and we ended up actually losing it all. And I did not have a mentor come in and step in and help me. I probably should have. I made one mistake in that really cost us the deal, besides being a little greedy. Sometimes they say money makes you stupid, and in my case, unfortunately, it did. I was making such a good amount of investment deals. Things were happening that kind of felt invincible, like I couldn't make mistakes. And the arrogance and ego absolutely humbled me when everything came crashing down. And so this is why I'm actually having a coach along the way. Now, I've already started. This is day 6 after leaving my job. This is lined up to have a coach because I wanted to get something on the ground, let my coach know I'm serious about it. Also because now I have the time to do it. But I wanted all of this put in place, and I want to actually encourage you to take a look and step back. If you are wanting to do something, what are you doing to be prepared for the day that you want to leave? Me leaving my job 6 days ago was 2 years in the making. And we saved for 2 years. We made sure all of our finances are down. We have no debt. We have 2 cars. I have a 21-year-old truck. I'm going to show that in another video because that truck is actually one of the reasons why we've been able to recover. It's made us, I would say, it's one of the keys to wealth is not to have a car payment. And we have a 2016, which is an 8-year-old Camry. And so we have these 2 cars that are already older. Both of them haven't really had a car payment. But along the way, I do study hard for things that are going to be big investments of time and money. And even this YouTube thing, there's our channels that I have up from, I think, 12 years ago. I think I'll show that one to you because I did some testing. Along the way, I've been doing a lot of studying on my own. But when I decided to jump in to doing my channel for even my e-bikes, I spent probably, well, I did have a lot of foundational knowledge, but I did spend about a couple of days just consuming what is the best strategies of today or of 2020. What are the best strategies that people are doing to go ahead and put a YouTube channel up with the biggest success? And what I did with that one is, as I showed, and if you haven't seen yesterday's video, you should check it out. But what I did with that one is I actually then put up a spreadsheet of comparisons of the top products in the market, and that would attract the keywords for people to start looking, which was very successful in helping that channel launch big. And along the way, so I was already ready, and I had actually been teaching people to make some YouTube channels in the past and done some challenges. So I was ready for that. But this challenge that I'm having now, I'm now having a teacher to take me to the next level. I want something to be able to not necessarily build a big business on that way, but to build a solid foundation of following my dreams and helping people as much as possible. Like I said, my goal is to have this channel actually make 1 million subscribers say that they've actually been helped by some advice that was given throughout my journey. And I believe that I am ready and a coach is coming. So what's interesting is there have been so many other situations where I was doing things and somebody just appears and offers a lending hand in advancing me through my next phase of learning a skill set. And whether it be real estate, or whether it be business building, whether it be Amazon, I was another one that I actually am an Amazon seller right now. And at one point I was an early Amazon seller. And when I jumped in, made about, I think, $30,000 in about 2 months when we first got started in that business. And that one didn't do well after. The competition came in, I just did not have the focus for it, but I knew how to do it. And that has brought me to where I was in my last profession before going full-time to this. I was an Amazon PPC advertising specialist for very large sellers. And that's a skill set that was actually built up because I had teachers along the way when I was teaching myself, and these other people brought me to the next level. In my advertising career, there was the same thing. When I was ready, there was a teacher who stepped in, taught me how to do large scale, which is something that's a very different mentality and made me more valuable than I could have ever imagined it would have, to bring me salaries that were on the higher end of the spectrum for Amazon advertisers. So it's been very, very good for me. And it is all a matter of I was ready. And I want to know, are you ready? And what are you doing to get ready? Make sure you pick up books. Make sure you pick up, watch videos, get everything prepared, but really lay a foundation so that when a teacher comes, you're ready to jump in as quick as possible. That's today's word. Thank you so much for watching. If this has been helpful for you, please subscribe. And if it hasn't, what you want to know, I want to know too. I mean, I'll go ahead and look it up if I have to, but I really want to know, what are you hoping for by coming and listening to me through this whole series of my videos? Please comment below. And if there is anything that potentially I might have knowledge on that I can help, I will definitely consider making videos for those things specifically, especially because you commented. Thank you for those of you who have been commenting, such a nice comments that have been coming out. I really appreciate the support of starting this new channel and this new journey. I wish you the best. I am really, really hoping that this is helping you. Take care, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.